Here I am writing a example which will explain the finally block in a proper manner. Hope you will understand, and after this we will see one more example. See what I have done. Here I have written one class called as the arithmetic class or arithmetic operation, and inside that there is one method called as the get remainder method. Hope by just getting the name of the method you would understand that what is the task of this method. So here inside this case, two parameters are there of type string, value 1 and value 2, and here one constant or one variable which we have fixed up with the name of rem, which is the -1. So here we are printing value 1 and value 2 both. After printing this both value 1 value, just in order to save the time as I have taken it from the workbook. In this now, both we are, I hope you are very well familiar with this code like integer.parseInt and this integer.parseInt. So value 1 and the value 2 which we are writing inside this. After that, AB is equal to integer.parseInt of value 1 and BC is equal to integer.parseInt of the value 2. In that now accessing the remainder. So what is there now? AB, something what we are using, operator which we are using here, and BC which we are using. So that remainder will be stored inside this, and now we are printing it. Okay. All these things we have done, but that we have enclosed that within the try and catch block. When within the try and catch block it is being processed, at the same time here also the catch block is there. So if any exception is going to occur, like here some exceptions may occur. If exception is going to occur, then the catch block will be processed or else it will not be processed. But suppose one thing here, if any exception not occurred, for example, if exception not occurred in that case, then this catch block will not be processed and this only that finally block is going to be processed. I will do one thing first. I will comment the remaining things also inside this. Here I am commenting. After making the comment now, here I am writing int AB is equal to integer operation, arithmetic operation dot get remainder. In that 12 and 7 I am passing. See, hopefully there will not be any exception in that. So I am running it here. What value which we are getting? See, initially there I am printing get remainder. What is that value I am printing? 7, 12 and 7. Converting into the int type. So after that what we are remainder we are accessing now, that is the 5 we are accessing, and see here finally block is also being processed at last. Fine. Here I am writing one line. What line I am writing? In that I am writing after finally block. What I have written is the after finally block I have written inside this. Okay. When I am writing after the finally block, now also I am running this program. When I am running this program, so you can see what is coming. After finally block is not being processed. Why finally block is not being processed? Because your return statement is encountered here itself, and once the return statement is encountered here, then because of that itself immediately control will be transferred to the caller of a method. Before transferring the control to the caller of a method, it will check whether the finally block is there or not. If it is there, then further in that way these all things is being done. Okay. Now again we will see some other options. I am also going to look at this. So I am commenting this line, and what next we are going to do is I am removing this some comments. So see here in this also some exceptions generally. So see here 12 and 0 which I am passing, I am again running this. What happens here now? There is some problem in the program itself. So we will first try to correct it here and then we will try to solve it here. Okay. I will comment this line also. So now your error is solved. Here I am passing get remainder method 12 and 0. When I am passing 12 and 0, so what happens now? Value 1 and value 2 inside that. Okay. So I am running it now. What it is, what we are going to get. See, after finally block is also being processed, right? Why after finally block is being processed? Now inside that when you are accessing this guy, here itself some exception occurred. Exception occurred, then control will be transferred to the caller of catch block, and after processing the catch block it is going to process the finally, and when it is processing the finally, till then there is no return statement encoded. This return statement has not been processed, so that's why this statement is also being processed in this. Hope you can understand. Similarly, in the next case now, I am writing, suppose what I am writing next one is inside this, if I am writing something, suppose. So what I am going to write inside this now, like suppose if I am writing get remainder method, I am writing inside this, and after writing a get remainder method j, which we are writing inside that, and you can see one thing, that we have written the try and under the catch block. So here you can see that is the, here we are passing some other values. So now we are getting all these things one by one. So that is the main is completed, catch is finally fine, which means that whenever any return statement encountered before the finally, so after, like before processing the finally block, any return statement is encountered. So after the finally block, no other statements will be processed. But if any return statement is not encountered, if suppose this return statement is not encountered, then this after the finally block, anything else will not be processed in that. Is it okay now? So this, now one more thing, just to understand the basic, which is things related to that, I am giving you one sample code here. What is that sample code? It is, hope you all can understand here. This is the sample code. I will just decrease the font of that, which you could understand, and this is what the font which we are discussing here, right? In this font now, what exactly things are available now and how it is being processed? See first. In this, some cases we need to consider. I am considering some cases here, hope you are going to understand in a proper manner. Suppose in your program here in this complete snippets, if no exception occurred, so the case 1 which I am writing, case 1 is no exception occurred. No exceptions occurred in this. When no exception occurred in this, then what is going to be done? So see, if no exception occurred, then statement 1 is going to be processed, statement 2 will be processed, right? After statement 3 will not be processed because here no exception occurred, so 3 will not be processed, 4 will be processed. After processing 4 and 5 will be processed. Now see, in any of this block, any of this statement which is there under the try block, in any of these statements, no exception occurred exactly here. If no exception occurred in this, here there is no exception occurred here, then it is not going to process the catch block, because we know that whenever any exception occurred, then only the catch block is going to be processed. So if exception not occurred, then catch block will not be processed, but as we know that finally is the necessary condition that the finally must be processed whenever anything occurred in that. So from the finally, what we are going to get now, statement 11 we are going to get, statement 12 we are going to get, statement 14 we are going to get, and 15 we are going to get. These all statements we are going to be, or it is going to be processed. Done? In the next case now, case 2 when I am writing. In case 2, let us start from the starting again. In the case 2, what we are assuming that, let us say that exception occurred at statement 2. If exception occurred at statement 2, so the first statement 1 will be processed. Statement 2 here exception occurred. So whenever exception occurred here, immediately your control will be transferred to the catch block. So exception occurred, which means that okay, after that now 3, then anyhow finally 4 will be processed and 5 processed, right? But here this catch block again will not be processed. So once this catch block is not processed, then other statements will be like statement 11, statement 12, 14 and 15. This is going to be the statement or things processing inside that, right? Again in the next case now, What is that next case now? Like case 3 I am writing something. What is that case 3 I am writing? The case 3 which I am writing is, like we assume that, suppose let us say exception occurred at statement 2, exception occurred at 2 places suppose. So, one is statement 2 and second one is the statement 5. So, when exception occurred statement 1, statement 2, here itself exception occurred, see wherever exception occurred I am making star over there, I am marking with the star there, okay. So, in that now statement 2 exception occurred, 3, 4 and 5 here exception occurred. Now, when the 5 occurred, then after that 6 is going to be processed. Next now 7th is going to be processed, right, because if the 5th statement here exception occurred, then definitely catch block is also going to be processed. So, statement 6, statement 7, after the 7 now, see here statement 9, statement 10 and again that finally will be processed as it is. So, like 11, 12, 14 and 15. This will be the processing of the statement. See, these two things you need to remember, where exactly exception occurred. According to that, the flow of program will be there, the statement of program will be there. Again now when I am writing or when we are again looking at, so we will write some other case, the case number we are writing here, case number 4 I am writing. When I am writing case number 4 in that, so what happens in the case number 4, statement 1, 2, here exception occurred, 3, 4, 5, here also exception occurred. Now, statement occurred at 7 also, which is there within the catch also. So, statement occurred 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, after the 5 what is going to be done now? 6, 7, here also exception is going to occur. After occurring the exception at the 7th now, what next it is going to write now? 8, because exception occurred at statement 8, so 8 is going to process it. If you will see in the above cases, 8 is not there. So, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 and 15. These all are the statements are going to be processed whenever that exception occurred at the different locations. Now, then again, when I am writing here, what is that I am writing? Case 5 when I am writing. What is that case 5 I am writing now? Hope all of you would have understand that. Now, in the case 5, exception occurred at statement 2, here exception occurred at statement 2 and statement 5 also exception occurred, 6, 7 also exception occurred, 7 also what is that now? Exception occurred. After the 7 now, 8, 9 and 10. Again, if we will just come to the finally blocking. See, so in this snippet or in the sample code, here 11 is going to be processed, 12 exception occurred here, remember this point, exception occurred. So, then after what it will process now? 13, 14 and 15. This flow of things which you should understand it in a proper manner, because if you are getting with a clear idea in that, so what happens now, the things which is happening, like you will get the complete good idea about that, like what is the finally block processing and what all other things which could be done with that. Is it okay? So, this is the, you can say, the finally block. Now, again, with associated with this finally block itself, there is one try with resource is there. Try with resource. What is that now? Try with resource. It is introduced from JDK 1.7, because sometimes what happens when you are opening the resources. So, order of opening the resource is equivalent or in the same order of closing of resource also must be there. If you are opening any resource, in what order? The same order you must have to close the resource. So, in order to solve that problem, like you cannot remember all the resources order and all, so we are that try with resources which is there, that is introduced in that cases. Clear? So, I will be again now discussing try with resource. So, here one example which we are looking for the finally block. See what I have done here. I have just written two classes. One is the door. In the door now what I am writing is one constructor I have written here, and then inside this one method which I have written, close method I have written. So, one is the door and the second one which I am writing is the close method. And the same components which I have written inside the windows also. So, window is also a class. Inside that I have written one constructor, and then also I have written one method inside this, that is the close method here. Now, inside this now here, what I am doing here in this, like the door dr is equal to null and window wn is equal to null, I am creating. I am using these resources within this try block. Maybe we are expecting that it may throw some exception, so we are enclosing within the try and catch block. But we are closing these resources inside the finally block. Understand, it is a very simple code which you can understand and very in a simple context. The concept is what? That suppose there is a, suppose that in a room, first what is there now? This is your room, suppose. In that now this is your something, you can, my drawing is not so good, so you can say it is a your door, entrance it is, fine. Now in that what happens, here is your window. So room is one resource, consider this room as an resource. In this room, if I wanted to use this window, so first of all I must have to open this door. If I am opening this door, then only I can open this window also. Without opening the door, I cannot open the window. So there are two things in that. Some are dependent resources are there and some are independent resources are there, right? So similarly, this window is a dependent resource over the door, right? So here first we are opening it, we are using it door, and then we are using it window. So whenever we are opening it, after that when we are closing, when our task is done of this room, we have used this room, after that what we should do exactly? First we should close this window or first we should close this door? So first we are going to close the window and then we are going to close the door, right? Which means that the order of opening the resource and order of closing the resource you must remember in order to do that, in order to perform it in a proper manner. If you are doing all that in a proper manner, right? If you are doing all that in a proper manner, or if you are like processing it in a proper manner, then only something which is there that could be done with that, right? So inside the finally block we are closing it, and suppose in your application you are using 1000 resources. In 1000 resources, do you think that it is possible to remember the order of opening the resources and order of closing the resources? Yes, people used to do that, but it is not always possible, or that code is simply going to make you lengthy. Like suppose 100 line of codes here you are writing using, and 100 line of code you are writing to close these resources, right? So in order to remove this problem, or in order to overcome this problem, there one concept which we got is from the JDK 1.7 is auto closable interface. In that auto closable interface, we can write the try as a parameter. So I'll show the same example here in the other format. What is this other format? See, again the door class is there, and again inside this window class is there, but one thing which you should notice it, which implements, what it is implementing? Auto closable interface. This is also implementing the auto closable interface. So if you will just look at the auto closable interface, what is there? Java p java dot lang dot auto closable interface I am writing. If you will see in this auto closable interface, there is only one method which is there, that is called as the close method. So we must have to override that method inside our class. So once we have implemented this auto closable interface, so after that what we are doing now, we are closing this inside our class, right? Similarly, in the window class also, once we have written implemented it auto closable interface, so we are also closing this inside the close method. Okay. What we are doing, I hope you are understanding it in a proper manner. Try door dr is equal to what next I am writing now? New door I am writing. After that, window wn is equal to what next I am writing now? Window also I am writing inside this. Is it okay now? So see here, window, I need not to close these resources. I am just using these resources and automatically this will be closed in that. But you should remember one point, that whenever this try block or this try block parameter which you are using here, this parameter which you are using here, this must be the implementer of auto closable interface, then only it will be allowed inside that, or else this will not be allowed. If the door resource which is there is not implementing auto closable interface, or window is there not implementing auto closable interface, so we will not be able to use this under the try block here, right? So now see, I'll be just running this example, and when you are running this example, you can easily understand like how it is processing and what all other things are being done in that. So see here, you can just go through that and we are processing it. See what exactly it is going to come. Open the door, open the window, right? Resources means we are using that resource, and after that window is closed and door is closed. You will see in this output, have we closed anywhere? Have we called the window or close method or somewhere? It is being called automatically, and it must implement the auto closable interface. There are some built-in resources are there, like here these all are the input output streams are there. So here also we can use it. You can see this code here also, like what is there, right? Write UTF, you are writing it and you are running this example, and it is being processed in a further manner, right, in man. If you will see inside here, so there is one document file will be created with the abc.txt, and inside that something it will write in there. But the same piece of code, if you are writing without using the auto closable interface, then you can see what is the way of processing and how all that is being processed in this, right? So this is one, you can say the auto closable interface is a good options where the finally task something which we can do, and there we can perform some resource cleanup and all inside the close method, right? Okay.